Are you in it?
Yeah.
Am I in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it's recording.
This is all part of the cold open, baby!
It is?
I hope me yelling didn't peak the thing.
I hope so too.
So, episode 1 of the podcast.
Yeah.
What inspired me to start this podcast? Thank you for asking. So,
What inspired you to start this podcast, Spencer?
So, thank you for asking. So, what inspired me to start this podcast was a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people that I would call chumps
Yeah.
make podcasts.
So how hard could it be?
So, how hard can it be?
It didn't take us, what is K? Like 10, 11 tries?
Well, I wouldn't say it took us 10, 11 tries to do this. It took us one try of plan K. It just took 9 plans to get to this iteration of the podcast, which might not be how it always is.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast might take on many forms.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Did I answer what inspired me to start this podcast yet?
Yeah, you said a bunch of chumps are doing it, so you
chumps.
So you thought, how hard could it be?
How hard can it be? And also, like, podcasts are stupid, so we're stupid, and
I don't know if I agree with either of those.
Well,
I'm a genius, and I think podcasts are like a fine form of entertainment, you know?
Get a few guys in a room, get them talking.
Yeah.
It's the art of...
It's intellectuals. It's the modern day, like, Greek where all the philosophers and intellectuals would get together.
Exactly.
It's the modern day... He didn't say the name of your podcast.
I didn't. So...
I thought you were going to open with, like, welcome to episode 1 of...
And live from New York, it's Stay in Your Lane!
That's good. But we're not live. We're not in New York.
All right. Well, folks, this is...
Pre-recorded from New Haven. It's...
You want to do it with me?
Stay in your lane!
That's right, folks. The podcast is called Stay in Your Lane because, well... My last name, putting this on the internet, my last name is Lane.
You didn't have to say that. You could have just said it's stay in your lane because we're going to talk about some people who should have stayed in their lane.
Yeah. Number 1, Saddam Hussein. That guy really grinds my gears.
Yeah, tell me about it. What has he done recently that's pissed you off?
Well, he's been dead since what, 2003?
Before you were born, I think.
I think so too. So
not me. I remember. Let me tell you, those few years when I was alive.
If he was around when I was around.
You're right. Things would have been different.
Things would have been different.
Things would have been different if you had been there. Things would have gone down a little bit differently.
Things would have gone down a little bit differently if I was there.
Yeah.
Top 10 moments in history that would have went down a little differently if we were there.
Saddam Hussein.
If you're seeing this and there was some sort of abrupt cut, whoever's... Shut up down there!
They're thrown. We're not even next to the gym anymore. We're not even next to the gym where they used to... The old TV club office, they would be throwing weights around next to her. You'd always hear that. Now they're... I don't know what they're doing over there. What even is that? There's a hallway.
There's menaces in the walls. We're surrounded on all fronts. We're fighting a war on 2 fronts right now.
There's a tunnel beneath us with
the student involvement people.
Student involvement people walking around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're using these tunnels for.
But probably just a faster means of transportation. Probably nothing dubious.
Nor nefarious.
No, they're just kind of...
What word do you like better, dubious or nefarious?
Dubious is sillier, I think. Dubious sounds funnier. Nefarious, I would maybe use in a less ironic sense. Like, I would maybe say someone was actually being nefarious.
Yes.
But
it's like a cool-ass word.
They're
Nefarious.
Yeah.
It's like a snake.
Right.
It's like a snake slithering.
It's very like, being kind of tricky. They're just sort of,
But dubious. If I catch someone being dubious.
That's like, I don't know. I wouldn't take that seriously. If someone was like, oh, he was being dubious, I'd be like, all right,
All right. What was he doing?
Yeah, nothing. Like.
Well, all right. What was he doing, right?
I have a question for you.
What was he wearing?
I have a question. Left hand or right hand?
Put in the comments what you choose. I'm going to go with you're left-handed?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the left hand. Oh.
But Spenser. No! Come on! Now it's going to be all shaken up for you.
Shaken, not stirred. The name is Bond. James.
You better tap on that so it doesn't spray all over the place. I'm going to do mine because I walked over here. They probably got all.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Wait, check this out. Oh, it's foaming.
In Britain, I think it's 5 o'clock right now.
Check this out. Little ASMR for all the people at home. And I was just thinking how I wanted a beverage.
And the context is he prefers voltage, so that's why. That was why he seemed a little disappointed.
We'll have a little guy at the bottom, little nerdy figure to put his finger up like this, and it'll have context. So you didn't need to say that. I just thought of that when you said that. Wouldn't that be funny?
I like that idea.
Little context guy.
Yeah.
Because I figure, like I said when we were talking about the Greek orgy thing, a podcast is really just a conversation.
Yes. And I think it deters from the conversation if you have to pause every time and say, oh, for the audience, FYI, this
for everyone
is
watching at home.
Yeah.
So I'm really thinking that we'll just have a little context guy. So it'll be fun because I'll watch it all over, and at points where I think we need context, I'll have a little nerdy guy.
A little guy. That's good.
Maybe I'll get the guy from my notebook.
Maybe.
Radio Club is right next door.
Gotta be quiet for them.
We're doing more podcasts right now than the Radio Club.
Yeah. And what is a podcast if not a modern day radio show?
Coming at you live, this is Weenie in the Butt.
From Parks and Rec.
From
No, that's Family Guy. Parks and Rec was... Oh, what was the first guy's name? It was something in the douche.
Boring.
What's boring?
Parks and Rec.
Really?
Yep.
It's one of my favorite shows. I love Parks and Rec. It's not as good as The Office, but those are the two that always clash because they're both mockumentaries that came out around the same time.
Maybe by the same guy.
About no, not by the same guy, but
They're not both by Mike Judge?
I don't think so. Well, plus The Office, I would say, is more. Well, I guess after it outpassed the British.
This is just
one.
what they need on the internet. Another freaking podcast about The Office.
It's not about The Office. I just happen to bring it up.
People are going to listen to this and they're going to think we're an Office podcast.
We are not an Office podcast. We hate The Office.
Thank you for saying that. We denounce The Office in all of its ways.
I don't hate The Office, for the record. He does, and it's his podcast. I, as the guest...
There's only so many times you can look at the camera when something funny happens.
I, as the guest, I do really like The Office. I think it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yes, it's good,
It's in my top 10. It's in my top 10. Just when it came out and stuff, it was really good. It was the first big mockumentary that did really well. Granted, credit to Ricky Gervais, who came up with the original idea in Britain, which I watched that one too. That one was also funny, but it was a different brand of humor.
It was British humor,
it was British humor, so it was much drier and bleaker. The ending is way sadder than the ending in...
Does Georgie get fired, whoever the guy's name is? Is it still Michael?
I forget his name. It's not Michael, but I forget. He does get fired. He gets fired. Jim, the British Jim, does not end up with Pam. She stays with the guy who's abusive, and they move to Florida. and he never sees her again. And then she comes back, and then she like has kids, and he's like, spoilers.
What show is then?
Spoilers to the
He
first
says that.
half.
He does this. So Pam walks in with the kids, and he goes, "Well, what show is then?" Cut to black. End of show.
Is that that's your
Lights go down.
What's
End
his
of
name?
play.
What's that guy's name? Who plays Bilbo in The Hobbit? And the
Morgan Freeman.
No.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. There you go. That's your Martin Freeman impression.
Hello, hello, hello. What show is then? The one ring to rule them all. I'd rather go to the Chippies. In it.
You know, I hear Martin Freeman, he has his assistant watch any podcast where he's mentioned, so he's going to see this. They're going to show him this. They're going to be like,
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Hey, it is 5 o'clock in Britain right now, so...
Have a pint. Can't we just settle this over a pint? Shrek?
That's Shrek. I was going to say, that's Shrek.
So this is the Impressions podcast where we just do impressions for an hour. What do you got?
AIDS.
It's not something to joke about.
No, that's my Charlie Sheen impression.
He has AIDS?
Yeah, that was like big news.
Why didn't I hear it?
I don't know. Well, it was in like 2016.
That doesn't sound like winning.
You know, unless he wanted, which that'd be kind of a weird thing to...
Magic Johnson had AIDS.
Yeah.
Still does.
Well, he got cured because of the money. Well, because remember, money's a cure for AIDS. South Park proved that.
And also, abstinence.
Yes, that's the other...
Because it really doesn't affect you if you don't have sex.
That's true. That's true. That's our method.
Yep. Most certainly. You
Now-
never gave me an... Oh, you did give me an impression. I was going to say, let's do 2 impressions, like an improv. Let's do... Because people love improv.
Yeah, this is the improv podcast.
This is the improv
cast.
The improv cast. Oh, that's probably a thing out there.
I'm sure it
The
is.
2 most annoying guys you know just made the improv cast where they just do improv for an hour on a podcast.
You have to bleep out the names, but that's the podcast that like... And who would he do it with? Which are two bleeps, but you can...
It was 3 because you said his name and then you said his
Right.
name
Well, I
again.
mean the 2 names.
Yeah.
Like
But yeah,
that's their podcast.
that's their podcast.
The improv cast. So they
Look
sit
out
there.
for their podcast. You'll know it when you see it, and you'll be like, "This was the podcast, the prophecy for."
If I had that's what you were being tortured. If you were being tortured, that's what they would play for you. Like you have to sit through a whole hour. They're like, "All right, you have to tell us what we want to know," and you're like, "I'm never talking." And then they're like, "All right," and they like have the Clockwork Orange thing like that keeps your eyes open, so you have to sit there and watch and listen to the whole podcast play out. It's definitely a video podcast. Definitely a video.
Yeah, no, that'd be torture. But we're better than that.
Yeah, we're far better than that.
So
We're
are we
very
gonna-
entertaining.
Are we gonna go with the bit of doing like an improv
No.
section? Okay.
Well, it's your show. You could make me, I guess. I don't know why I'm
wanted to do
answering.
like a Peter Griffin or a Shrek or something.
Okay. I'll do... Well, who do you want? Peter Griffin or Shrek? You could pick.
Who do you feel more comfortable with?
Hey, it's your show. You have
I
to
feel
look
more
good.
comfortable with the Peter Griffin.
Okay. Good. So I'll do Shrek.
Well,
Hey, where's Donkey?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Shrek.
Hey, who are you fat guy from Rhode Island?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Have you seen a talking donkey run around here?
Whoa. Who are you calling fat? I'm Peter Griffin, and this is the Quahog Clam.
The Quahog Clam.
Yep, that's what we're calling it.
That sounds like some sort of STD you'd get.
Like you know anything about that, you green lump of grain.
Oi! I'm a big organ.
You're telling me.
I could mess you up, pal. You better watch it.
I fought a lot of chickens in my day.
Yeah, well, I fought the whole army of guys in a wrestling ring over Pink. There was a Pink song playing.
I thought it was Joan Jett.
Maybe, okay.
Pink wasn't out into the year 2001.
Yeah, they were. Weren't they? I'm pretty sure Pink
No.
was. Like 90s. Didn't they get started in like the 90s?
Pink?
Yeah. I assume they were like 90s. And
I think you're thinking of No Doubt.
I don't even know who that is.
Gwen Stefani?
I know Gwen Stefani. I've heard that name.
She was the lead singer of No Doubt in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't listen to music.
Me neither. This is the Boring Guy podcast. Neither of us listen to music or watch movies.
No.
Or do anything.
No. You know what we do? And I meant to bring this up for you to remind you because I know you forgot. Remember, there was something, we had a rant planned for you for the first episode, something you wanted to talk about. Did you remember what it was just now?
I do remember.
A certain
communication technique.
Yes, well, I was gonna say it's a certain tool and in a certain email application.
I think it's in all email applications.
It is, yeah.
So you'll all be familiar with it. Was there no natural segue into this? Or are we just gonna jump right in?
I was just gonna bring it up for you. Because I know you wanted to talk about it and discuss when perhaps it's appropriate to use it and when perhaps it's inappropriate to use it.
A certain word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Folks.
There's an epidemic going across.
Epidemic on this campus.
On this campus, yeah.
And possibly spreading into the real world. Let me set the stage for you. You get an email. And you read it, and you go, all right, cool. Valuable information has been given in this email. I do not need to articulate any thoughts, opinions, concerns, what have you. So you read the email, and you go about your day or night.
In this scenario, there's like 40 recipients.
Yes.
It's a big block email. Perhaps you're in a play, and it's like the first day of rehearsal or something, and they'd like to welcome the whole cast and crew to the play,
yes,
and tell everyone when the first rehearsal is going to be.
Yes, they give you a schedule.
Yes, and they nowhere in the email ask for any sort of callback or answer to said email. Just
giving information, plain and simple.
Yes.
To about 40 people.
But
you've gone about your day, you've read this email. One person decides this elicits a response. This needs, what I have to say, needs to be heard. Which is fine. But my problem is this little button that is automatically on any email you get in a chain, reply all.
Yeah, and it's the all that is really crucial to this.
It's the all that's really crucial to this. Because clearly, if you would just put half a second more thought into this and just reply to the person who sent the email, you'd only be bothering one person.
And you would be bothering them, for the record.
Oh, yes, 100,000%.
They do not need you to reply, got it, or something like that to a whole thing.
If you've understood something, you don't need to tell them that.
Yeah.
If you don't understand something...
There you go. That's a reply.
That's a reply, know all. But this hypothetical person, these hypothetical people, this group, decides to know either...
Everyone needs to hear this.
Either they think everyone needs to hear this, or they're too silly in the head... Incompetent to even put half a second more thought into it, like, oh, no.
And realize reply all is selected.
No.
Which, that is another issue that I'll bring up. I think part of the blame is on Outlook specifically, which is the email that our school uses, because for some reason, in Outlook, the default reply setting is reply all. So if you're in a huge group email and you just hit reply, it automatically makes it reply all. You have to, like, shift off of it to make it just normal reply.
Yes.
So there is that aspect.
There's that aspect, but we are in college. We are adults.
We are in college. We've studied critical thinking here.
Yes. We have a whole course dedicated to thinking critically of our liberal education program.
Yes.
And the problem is, you get this email, and it's just, thanks! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Sent from my iPhone.
Yes.
Sent from my Android.
Get Outlook for Android.
Get Outlook for Android. Get Outlook for iOS. I'm sorry in advance, because I'm going to yell here. To editing, to people listening, to you who's 2 feet away from me, because I'm going to yell here. You don't need to tell everyone that you got the email. And when you send the email, please take out the part that shows that you did not care enough to open it on a computer. Please take out the part that says, yeah, I just sent this from my iPhone, just shooting you a quick message. It's an email. Maybe
it shows that they live like a busy life. And you should take it
always on the go.
Yeah, you should take it as a positive thing, because it shows that they're so busy and yet they took time out of their day to go on their phone and answer your email.
Like a text chain. Like we're in a group chat. Like we're a group of middle school teenage girls.
Using Outlook.
Using Outlook by Microsoft Windows. This is not a text chain. You don't need to reply all one-word answers from your phone. It's never, ever, ever needed. Ever. I don't think reply all should be an option.
What? But what if it was? What if it was important? Well, in the one that we had,
This is where I was going to go with this.
There were 2 reply alls, and we excused both of them as being, all right, that's an okay use. Because one was from the person in charge of, like, everything, and he was letting us know that there was incorrect information in the original email, and that there was a whole other date that needed to be added, and that, like, a time was wrong. So that is something that everyone in the chain probably should have,
yes,
been informed
and
of.
then you know what happens after that? After he replied all to that, someone else replied all to that and was like, good call. Thanks for saying that.
Now that one probably we could have gone without. That one we probably could have gone.
And then someone else is like, all right, yeah, we'll get that fixed. Hey guys!
I'm glad you and I on like the bottom level of this hierarchy of people doing things.
I'm glad we're here for this.
I'm glad we knew. I'm glad we know that it's being
I'm so glad they're getting it fixed. I thought they were just gonna let it go.
I was worried that our calendar for the whole program was gonna be off this whole time because maybe he just brought it up like it's wrong and no one was gonna fix it because
we had but. Good thing they replied all.
Good thing they let us know. They put our qualms at ease with that one.
Yep, my qualms were calmed. So the moral of the story is,
if you ever want to annoy Spencer,
put 40 people on an email chain. Just treat it as a text. Reply all. Reply all to the reply all.
I have a similar thing to this that me and my family, certain people in my family, are all banded together. There's like there's a split in my family where there's big text chains that happen. And what do people do on iPhone is they react. They like to react to everything with little emojis and stuff.
Those
all my aunts, and I don't know if this is just because I have an Android or if it's like does it for iPhone users too, but it sends me like a text notification.
It sends you a message.
Okay, so regardless, yeah.
Like,
so it's like a whole new text message.
Like the message.
Yeah. And I'm like, why? And they do it on purpose at this point because we've talked to them. We have sat them down and we're like, hey, can you guys stop reacting to text messages because it comes in as a whole new text message and it's really annoying. And they're like, and they laughed. They laughed it off in our face. They were like, oh, hee hee hee, oh, hee hee hee. And they still just keep doing it. And they do it even more so now. And like me and my cousins, we've had our fun with it. Like we tried like because we can copy like the message like where it's in quotes, and we'll like make up our own things. Like my cousin would be like, Griffin sneezed at like Robin's message, like, and then quote like we'll make up our own little reactions, and that was funny for a bit. But like this is going on years and years of them doing this. Like it's not even, we can't even make fun of it anymore. It's just gone full circle where it's just really annoying again. Like,
oh my God.
I just can't stand that. It's to the point where if I get put in a text chain that has like all my family members in, I immediately mute it. I read the original message and then I just mute it because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this stuff.
I like that. I like that you mute the text chain. Thumbs up.
Oh yeah, Spenser likes that you mute.
Spenser liked
Can we start
Spencer's rant.
Let's just start doing this in real life to people.
Spenser loved, let's just do this to real people in real life. It's a great idea.
And then you can react to their reactions. Spenser liked, Spenser loved, Spenser. Let's do this to. It gets fun, but.
It's fun. Just like the podcast.
It's still really annoying. Yeah, this is fun.
This is fun.
This is great.
It's just a conversation between two guys.
It really is. That's all it is.
Like the Greeks intended.
Exactly. Just like the Greeks. This is exactly what they were thinking of when they were talking to each other. They were like, you know what? I bet, I can't do Greek accent, but they were like, I bet in...
Want to try?
Whatever, I don't even know. How long has it been since ancient Greek? Like 1,200 or 2,000 years, right?
I think
that was
so.
It was about the dawn of...
Well,
Jesus,
no, because
right?
that was when the Romans were there, and the Romans like stole.
They were after, yeah.
Things
So
from the
over
Greeks.
2,000.
Over 2,000 years ago.
So
these ancient
like
Greeks,
2,500 years ago, the Greeks were sitting around like, you know what? I bet two guys are gonna be sitting with technology we can't even dream of.
Yes. And then another guy was like,
sharing
"Did you just come up with that word, technology?"
Sharing their ideas with the world.
The world. I like that. Because the Greeks came up with a lot of words.
They did, yeah. They were always coming up with words. Just like Shakespeare. Shakespeare came up with a lot of words.
I feel like we give him way too much credit.
What, the Bard? You don't like him?
Yeah. I feel like he made up words, so what, that we use in real life. Like, okay, that's cool. Dr. Seuss did the same thing.
Yeah, but we don't use Dr. Seuss's words like in regular.
He made the word nerd.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I guess that's one. You got me.
Ham, green eggs and ham.
I don't think he came up with the word ham, Spencer.
You don't think he came up with green eggs and ham?
I think green eggs and ham, yes, but I think ham, no.
That's a misleading title. Because the ham was also green.
That's true. Green eggs and green ham is
green eggs and green
would
ham
be more.
I will not eat that, Sam. I will not eat green eggs and green ham.
It almost works still.
It works.
It's just a bit more jumbled. Like it's a bit.
It adds a meter to it.
Yeah.
I will not eat this in a house. I will not eat this with a mouse. I will not eat this near or far. I will not eat this in a car. I will not eat this in a bar. I will not eat this with your mom. I will not eat this on the job. I will not eat it with green corn on the cob. I will not eat it here or there. I will not eat it anywhere. Did I say that one already?
I don't know. I kind of stopped listening. Smithers,
turn off the podcast at about 46:33.
Why is it blinking like that?
The battery?
I don't know. I just see something blink. I don't know what that symbol is.
So,
Plan L.
This is Plan K.2, okay?
Okay.
Because this is still Plan K.
You can have decimal points and letters.
Whatever.
I feel like it'd be K.A. If you're
K.A.
doing that.
K.O.
Oh, I hope we don't get to K.O.
K.O. K.O. is... You don't want to know what K.O. is. So... But... How do we re-rail this?
Smithers, get the podcast back on track.
Right away, sir. So, okay. What we were just talking about doesn't matter.
Man, remember environmental history? That was fun.
Environmental history? No, I remember geohazards. Environmental...
Impact environments.
Yeah. How geohazards impact environments. And what did we learn about? how our teacher doesn't believe in...
global warming's not real. We're just coming out of an ice age.
Our earth science professor really said that.
They hit Straight Creek.
They hit Straight Creek. There we go. That's another thing for our context nerd.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring it up every time he comes up?
No. Well, clearly not, because if we did anything in that past 30 minutes.
If they had to give context to anything else, we didn't mention it.
So we'll make sure to thank him at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, our earth science professor doesn't believe in global warming.
But we had a good time. I'm glad that you were in that class with me, because I don't know what I would have done if you were not there.
Me too.
We would literally keep each other awake sometimes. Sometimes. It was not successful.
Not
sometimes
a guarantee.
We'd both fall asleep.
Sometimes one of us would fall asleep.
And the other one just wouldn't wake him.
The other one would watch. We'd kind of just watch each other fall asleep.
We would. I'd be like, oh, he's drifting. I could tell. He's fading.
I'd be like, oh, man. It's rough. It's rough out here. That's the crazy thing is when you know you're falling asleep in class and you're trying to fight it, but you cannot do it.
You can't. And like your eyelids are getting real heavy. You do the long blinks. The long blinks, that's a crazy one.
That's crazy.
I take a blink, and when I open my eyes, 2 minutes have gone past, and I'm like...
And for the professor's always talking, the words just kind of
Yeah.
They just mesh together.
Uh-huh.
It's like an 80-slide PowerPoint. You're on slide 60.
You open your eyes, it's 75. You're like, it's rough.
Does the fall thing.
And then there was that was my plan. That's how I managed to keep myself awake, is because I would not let myself go like this or do anything. So if I was gonna fall asleep, I would fall and then I would wake myself up. The only time I would ever fall asleep is if I if I forgot, and I would have my head resting, and then I would pass out almost immediately. And then there was that other girl who just sat at her table, and we always thought that she must have been so annoyed with us, but at the same time, she stayed. She could have moved to any of the other... There was open seats at all the other tables that she could have moved to, and she didn't. So it brought up the question, maybe she thinks we're funny. Maybe she thought it was a podcast. That she was our first podcast, because she really got the full Spenser and Spenser experience.
Yeah.
Sitting at that table hearing our nonsense all the time. Because we would whisper so no one else would hear, but she definitely heard what we were saying. But she never laughed.
She never did the work with us also. When we'd have to do the work in that dumb book, the two of us would work together and she'd just sit there.
I feel like there was one or two times that she gave us an answer or something.
She'd be like, what'd you get for number 3?
Yeah, she would ask us for help sometimes.
I'd be I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be
Jupiter?
I'd be like, you do not want my answer. you do not want...
And then of course the professor would have attitude when we handed it in.
She would.
Let me tell you this. I think you know the story. I tried to get in good with her as a final little jab to get my grade up when it was a fall semester, so we were leaving around the holidays. And I told her, I said, and Merry Christmas, by the way, because she was
yeah, she was one of those.
She was one of those.
Yeah.
Fellow religious followers. So I made sure not to say Happy Holidays because she seemed like the type of person who'd be offended by that. The type of people. She seemed like one of those members of the crowd. So I said, and Merry Christmas, and she said, oh, Merry Christmas to you too.
She was Southern.
She was Southern.
That should have been context. Oh, we didn't have to say that. Dang it.
Darn. That's coming out of Context Nerd's paycheck.
He can still come up. It'll just be funny because I also say it.
Yes.
If you really feel like it. But, yeah, that class was really something. And we had a lot of really good bits from that class that we came up with that are still...
The walks back would go crazy.
The walks back would be great. And in class, we would come up with so many funny things. I remember several classes trying so hard not to burst out laughing during her lectures and stuff, because we would say stuff that was so funny that it would literally be like the meme where you're in class trying so hard not to laugh.
It's true.
And then just, I don't know why, that's such a dangerous game. I would just keep trying to make you laugh.
And I'm easy to laugh.
I was like, oh my God. It was so funny.
So yeah.
Some of the stuff bled into my show.
Yeah.
A few of the bits, but some of them we wouldn't be able to.
Some of them are in the vault.
Some of them are not things that we should say. And good for that girl who never said.
I know, she has weapons of mass destruction against us.
She knows. She's heard some things that we've said.
Although we've gotten worse also since then. Like we've come up with worse bits.
We've definitely said worse things since then, but yeah, that
our hallway talks that always end with that one specific subject.
Oh no, and that's bad too because anyone could probably hear us.
I know.
In their rooms, like.
But if he knows what's good for him, he'll
Neff Hall, 112 Wintergreen Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut, 06515. Go get him.
If he knows what's good for him, he'll keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
I'm not threatening him. I'm not threatening him.
Maybe that guy will put another note on his door.
I still don't know who put that there.
Yeah, it is an enigma. We don't know.
Did you put the note on my door?
What note? Great.
Dude,
classic
they got me
line.
just off of 3 hours of rehearsal. I was at my peak as an actor.
Yeah, that was great. And now you're acting again.
This can't be used in court, right?
It definitely could. It definitely could be.
I did not put a note on his door. I admit to no note putting. There's no evidence. My alibi was I was doing homework and in class the whole day. I was not in my dorm the entire day.
Yeah.
That is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's a good story.
It's a good story. It's a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I knew if we ever found out
Yeah.
who the note caper was.
Yeah, because,
And I'll say,
we might get notes on our doors.
We could.
Saying, hey, your conversations in the hallway are
we behave.
Pretty messed up.
We behave.
We do behave.
The notes on the door only come with some sort of reprimanding, from what I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can be a little loud sometimes. I like to sing.
He does like to sing. We have we both live in singles. We have two very opposite strategies of how we deal with that. He treats his single person dorm as his own home. He'll sing, he'll dance, he'll laugh loudly, he'll live, laugh, love in his room. And meanwhile, and I don't know if you can attest to this, I try not to make any noise whatsoever when I'm in my room.
You sneezed pretty loud last night.
Shut up. Shut up.
I was trying to jerk off and you sneezed.
You can't say that!
Do you know how disruptive that was for me?
Well, try to do it when you're singing 2 inches away from my head.
I'm kidding, by the way.
So am I. That's probably can't even. If you're watching this and there was just an abrupt cut, it's because the editor, who's me, decided not to put what he just said in there.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was censored. But then I kind of incriminate myself in a certain aspect, and maybe I had to take that part out. It's rough. But yeah, I try not to make any noise because I feel like it's my own private domicile. Luckily though, my other neighbor, the South Korea to my North Korea, he's gone. He's ousted. I don't know who the new guy is.
Again, I love that you, in that analogy, make yourself North Korea. You can easily be South Korea.
No. Because I'm like North Korea, because I have
communist.
No lights on in my territory. I never have lights on.
You never have food.
I never have food.
You have a big picture of yourself.
I have a big picture of myself, yep. I look at it every night.
Yeah, you pray to it every morning.
Yep. I don't, you don't hear anything from me at all.
Yeah, very little.
Except when I do my nuclear test, a.k.a. sneezing. And he's South Korea because he copies everything I do, just worse.
He has great music.
No, he doesn't. He probably listens to another abrupt cut. Because the jury's out on if I can still say that. This is just incriminating. What if we just ended it?
I think you need to. I think this has gone on long enough. I think the longer we go on, it's just you're just gonna keep saying stuff.
So, how do you end a podcast?
It's up to you, Mr. Lane.
How did Super Mega do this?
They would usually do a bit where like someone would come in and like shoot them. But that was before they did the video.
Oh, we can't do that in a school, on a college campus.
Oh yeah, that would be bad. We can't do that. I don't know. They would just say something and then like.
Oh my God! Is that the janitor? Oh my God! He's gonna. What are you doing with that broom? Oh. Oh my. Oh. If you're not gonna play along, we'll just end it here. If you're not gonna play along.
Okay, no, I'll play along. I'll play along. All right. Sorry. Dude, go again.
All right, janitor, you can come back.
Okay, yeah. Well, reset, janitor.
Scene 1, take 2, action. Oh my God.
Is that the janitor?
It is.
What the f*** is he doing?
Wait.
I was playing along. That's too real. Okay.
Okay.
So, detached from reality where I wouldn't swear, but also I still am reacting like I would normally if there was a strange janitor in here. Well, good thing the janitor's here. He can clean the toilet for you. Okay, sorry.
Thanks for coming back, janitor.
Oh my God, it's the janitor!
And what is he doing with that broom? Oh my God! That's not where that's supposed to go.
I didn't know you could eat soup that way.
Whoa!
It's very inefficient.
Oh my God! And he's turning the camera off.
No, come on, we had at least 10 more minutes of that. Oh.
No.